Hello traders and welcome to our market roundup update. It's Tunapan here, founder of Master Markets E-Trades Conference and a Traders Open Day. So here we are on the dollar Swiss chart over here. I just want to flag up to you of the big chunky profit that we got this week. It's close to 8,000 pounds, okay, is what we got. We did also take a small loss here on cable, just a little bit less than £1,000. I'm just going to summarize all of that later on, but for now the topic for today it's going to be basically on the risk management. So a simple thing that I do want to mention here, just for some beginners who are starting off, or for even some intermediates who've been trading for many years. So let me just write up for you on in terms of the risk management basis. The first thing, a very simple thing that you can do, some people might be familiar with, is the 1% risk. Okay, we talk a lot about this at our Traders Basecamp workshop too, and as part of the Traders Basecamp package. Now you can see that what is the 1% risk that we are talking about here. Now for example, if you have an account of, let's say, £10,000, okay, now in £10,000 what you're doing is whichever trade that you place according to whichever strategy, you want to only risk 1% of the account. So the first thing is what we call the account risk, is it not? So the account risk is going to be over here, 1% of that is going to be £100, okay? Then the next thing then we then calculate is what we call the trade risk, okay? Now the trade risk is what's going to be your entry minus your stop loss. So before you enter into any trade, you're supposed to calculate your entry and your stop loss, okay? Now, so entry minus stop loss, so let's say that comes down to, let's say, 50 points or 50 pips in Forex, okay? Points usually for stocks, pips for usually for Forex, okay? So once we know this, either one of this, 50 points or 50 pips, £100 account risk, then simply to get your stake size. Now before I come to stake size, I must mention, for those of you who do not know what a stop loss is, a stop loss is a protective number in the market that tells the broker you're placing the trade with that, hey, you know what, if it reaches this number, just take me out. Now let me give you an example. For example, if let's say you're catching a retracement, okay, just like here, it's coming down, right? So it's coming down, and then finally then it turns, is it not? It finally turns. So once it starts to turn, let's say you put your entry, you think that after this bar is going to go further up. So your entry is here, or it can be on the close, whichever, on the high or on the close. And then what you're then doing is that you are then putting a stop loss, okay, a stop loss at the bottom of this bar or here, wherever it can be, all right? So that's what we call your initial stop loss. Now, what does this stop loss do? As its name suggests, it stops your loss. That means to say, if the market does turn, let's say it goes up a little bit the next day, and then the next day, then it turns, and it comes back all the way down. What it's then telling the broker is, oh, hey, you know, if the market, hey broker, if the market falls below this level, take me out of the trade. Take me out of the trade. I want my loss to be stopped. And this is why you do this calculation here of this account risk and this trade risk, because by doing this calculation, when it hits that technical level, let's say that is 1.5250, let's say, all you are saying is that if it hits that level from your entry point to your initial stop loss, I only want to risk, for example, in this case, 1% of 10,000 is only £100. So I should only lose £100 if it hits this level of 1.5250, okay? So that's what I'm telling the broker at the moment. If it hits that level, take me out of the market, and I only want to lose £100. Okay. Now, so to do that, how do we get to placing our position size and our stake size, or if you may call stake size as well? That's why you got to do this calculation. Find out your account risk first, then next your trade risk entry minus your stop loss. Then what you then do, take that £100, which is your account risk, divide it by the trade risk. Okay. So for example, in this example, let's say this is dollar Swiss. Let's say all this in pips. So the account risk would be £100 divided by 50 pips. Okay. Then we get down to what? £2 per pip. Okay, that's what we're saying. So all it's saying is that every time it goes up by 1 pip, you earn £2. Every time it goes down by 1 pip, you lose £2. So when it goes down by 50 pips, the maximum you can then lose is only £100. So this is how you cap your risk and you keep yourself in the game for the long run. Okay. Now, of course, if this is a £100,000 account, then of course it will be a bit more different. Then the account risk could be £1,000, and if let's say trade risk remains the same, then instead of £2 a pip, that will be £20 a pip. Okay. Now £20 a pip and all that, that's in spread betting. But if you're doing direct market, lot sizes and all that kind of stuff, then this is going to change, and that will all be measured in terms of lots. Okay, and that's a different calculation altogether. There are position size calculators online. Do check them. One of the things that our TB package clients usually use is basically the Earn Forex position calculator. Very soon we will get our own one as well, and you all can use it from our website as well. Now, okay, so this is all well and good now. Now we move on to our performance for this week. And you can see in real time how we are risk managing as well, according to that kind of formula, okay, with the percentage risk management formula. Right, so now let's take a look at some examples here. Now, what have we done so far? Let's take a look at the Elite Room so far. Now, the Elite Room traders so far this week has done really very well. Now, what it has done is, let's take a look at swing profits. Swing profits, we have taken only one trade this week. You can see 11th September to 14th September. 10th to the 14th is this week been. We closed it on midnight yesterday, which is in the 14th. You can see we made about 1.26% over here, right? That's what you can see over here. Now, the next trade that we do take is the prime profits strategy. And in that prime profit strategy, what you can see over here is that we made a big profit of 6.06%. That's really big profits that we made, and that is a whooping 109 pips of profit that we did. And all it did was 4 days of trade. Now, what is this strategy in a nutshell? All it is that we did take the trade over here on the close. Our stop loss was very tight, just above the moving average over here. And what are we saying? All we are saying is that this phase, which is a top to bottom move, we are saying that the first interruption that we do get, we are looking for that interruption to fail. Okay, we are looking for that interruption to fail and for the trend to persist. That's what we are looking for. So that's what prime profits is all about over here. And you can see that even though it had this interruption where it retraced, but eventually the trend persisted and took out that low of the initial retracement. And that's where we get out before the market starts to turn, as you can see over here. Okay, so that's one way of trading in that particular way, and that's what prime profit strategy is all about. Okay, so now let's go on to take a look at the overall profits for the Elite Room for today. Right, so in terms of prime profits, do remember that we did take a small loss as well on cable. You can see that the money risk management is coming in, so we only lost a very small -1%. And then over here you can see that we want a big profit of 6.06% over here as well. So that's coming up to 5.06%. Okay, is what we are having for the Elite Room performance so far. Now, okay, so let's now take a look at the LTR, the live trading room, on how it has performed. This is 5.06, but do remember that we also made some profits in our swing profits as well, right? Remember, swing profits made 1.26. Okay, made 1.26. So overall, what did the Elite Room make? The Elite Room made 6.32%. 6.32% is what the Elite Room made. Okay, so that's what we got over there. 6.32%. Let's say that is on a £100,000 account. That would be £6,320. Okay. Now let's take a look at the live trading room. This is the Elite Room. Let's take a look at the live trading room performance. Now over here you can see that in terms of the money bar strategy, in terms of the where we got out, we made a small loss for this week of minus 0.67 from the when we closed it out earlier this week on the 10th of September. So overall, what do we have, traders? So let's take a look at that. Overall, what do we have? 6.32% in terms of the Elite Room, right? And in terms of the live trading room, we made a very small loss of minus 0.67%. So overall, what we are making is 5.65% profit, okay, is what we have at the moment. And then on a 100k account, that would be £5,650 of profit. Okay, now of course some of you may be thinking, oh, how do you do all this kind of big profits right from the beginning? That's what we always say, start steadily and then grow yourself and then grow your account and then make larger profits. Okay, so that's how it all works out to be. Okay, great. So that's all from me for today. Just doing a quick check on whether you covered everything. Yes, so we just on a recap, what did we check? So we checked basically on risk management, and then we also saw how we actually made this profit on the dollar Swiss. Always manage your risk. It's always professional traders always think about risk. How much can I afford to lose? Because the upside will always look after itself and will override all the losses. Okay, so account risk for your 1% risk management. Know your account risk, your trade risk, divide that by the 2, you'll get your stake size, and that will keep you safe in the markets. Okay, all right, so that's all for today on the Market Roundup update. Till the next time, as we always say, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.